This is 128 Grazer. Her hobbies include fishing for salmon, looking after her cubs, and beating up other bears. And she's just been crowned Queen of Fat Bear Week in Alaska. But while bears need to beef up to make up for all those months of hibernation, it's not quite the same for the fluffy freeloaders who live in our houses. Being chonky might look adorable, but it poses a serious threat to their welfare. Take Harry. This ginger tom from Dunedin arrived at the SPCA weighing nearly 12 kilos. He's now making progress on a special diet.
The good news is your cat is healthy as a horse.
Hear that, John?
The bad news is he's also big as a horse.
Big Ted is another Otepoti local with a penchant for snuggles and smooches. He's looking for a forever home where he can continue on his path to becoming a slightly less Big Ted. So, what can you do at home if your furry friend needs to shed a few kgs? Let's get some ideas. SPCA Science Officer Christine Sumner joins us from Dunedin. Christine, is this really a big problem?
Oh, yeah. Well, we know that about 1 in 4, 1 in 5 cats and dogs in New Zealand are overweight and obese, so we know this is a growing problem. And we might not be all that great at looking at our cat or dog and seeing them and being able to tell that they're overweight or obese. So, yeah, it's really important we talk about this and we get a handle on it to help our pets.
Christine, how bad really is it for pets to be a little bit on the heavy side?
Being overweight or obese can have some serious negative health impacts. So a cat physically will have issues with their heart, with their kidneys, with breathing. They might have some joint issues if they're carrying around too much weight. And then on top of that, it can really impact how they feel. So when we're talking about the welfare, a cat might feel pain in those joints if they're achy. They also might be not able to do things they like to do, like run and jump around and smell things. So they might be a bit frustrated and bored. So there's a lot of different negative things that can happen from being overweight or obese.
So whose fault is it if my pet is overweight? I mean, I'm not doing the eating. Is it mine?
We know that it's really important that a pet's family is part of how they end up being overweight or obese, but it's just as important that the family is part of how to help them and how to lose weight and come up with a plan. You know, making sure they're not getting too much food, making sure they're getting more activity. We're playing with our cat or dog, going for walks. So it's better to kind of think about what are the things we can do to help our pets out.
Do you have any tips to keep our pets' waistlines under control?
Yeah, first and foremost, if you're worried about your pet's weight changing, is to talk to your veterinarian because there could be underlying health issues. So you always want to make sure those things are addressed. And then second, you want to think about how can I make our food options more interesting. There's ways that you can, like for a cat, you can hide their food. You could put it in toys, make them work for it a little bit. And that's a great way also to get some exercise and activity. It's also important to think of activity in general as well. So play with your cat. Allow them to run around more. Give them places to climb and hide. If you have a dog, maybe they need more walks and play sessions. So it's not just about the food amount, it's also about increasing that activity. And these are all things a family can do together, so it's a wonderful way to bond and spend time with each other.
Thanks, Christine, for joining us.
You're welcome.
Friday night in the project. Look, Laura Daniels here. Hey, Laura.
Hello.
Love having you on the show. Does this story ring any bells for you?
Sure does. I've got a cat that I love at home. He's a little bit getting on the chonky side, and you know, I would always consider it. It's quite expensive, but I would consider a gastric bypass. You know?
I like that. Josh, I understand your cat has a bit of a badonkadonk.
Well, yes, I have posted only one video of my cat online, and someone took it upon themselves to say that he was a fatty catty. And it was the angriest I've ever been in my life. I lost my mind. I spent about 2 to 3 days arguing with this person and nearly sent them the report from my vet saying that my cat was fine.
What was it that really pushed your buttons, having a stranger talking about the size of your cat?
It's just a little cat. Like, he can't type English. He can't respond to that. I've got to stand up for him. Yeah. It's not his fault. It's a little... He hasn't got thumbs for a spacebar. It's not...
It's weird, though, because there's all sorts of comments about you online. You know, he's
talentless, shouldn't be on TV, you know, got a bad haircut. But that sort of stuff doesn't wind you up. It's the cat.
I wasn't really
Sorry,
aware
I'll
of these.
stop writing them live.
Oh,
I reckon it's very rude from a fellow co-host as well. I'm
really
pleased to hear you're standing up for your cat. It's very noble.
yeah, thank you.
On the side of cats, and you know Big Ted that we saw
Yeah.
in our story, he's actually still available. He's looking for a home. And you saw how cute he was and very affectionate, even if he's a little bit chubby. So contact the SPCA in Dunedin. In fact, we'll make it so much easier for you because we've got the details on our Facebook page.